Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Dawn McClellan, and I am the training manager here at Moxi. Today, we are going to be going over marketing automation. So, a really great new product that we're calling Moxi Impress. And I'm excited to share it with you today. I'm joined by Melissa Anderson, who is your account manager, and she's going to help me answer any questions that crop up through today's webinar. But what I'm going to cover today is essentially what is it? What does it do? Why does it do it? And then I'll walk you through a quick demo of some of the really super easy tasks, some things that you can do to take it to that next level. And this is all about your marketing. What's so great about this is that everything is fully automated for you. So there's not a lot that you're going to have to do except send out your marketing. So once you receive it, you'll then send it out. So without any further ado, we do have more people signing in right now. So I'm just going to kind of tread water a little bit right now to let more people join us before we dive right into the full presentation. We are recording this webinar, so you will have a chance to go back and rewatch this at a later date. And if you have any questions that crop up during what I'm showing you today, please feel free to use the questions box. There's a questions panel in your control panel for the webinar that allows you, or it should say maybe chat questions. Go ahead and type into that and you'll be able to send us questions throughout the webinar. So as you're thinking of them, go ahead and send those to us. All right, so we have more people that are on now, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my presentation. What's so great about the marketing package that we have for you with Moxi Impress is that it is fully automated. So there are different stages of the life of your listing, and this automation will apply to you throughout those stages. First automatic one is when a new listing goes live. You will receive an email or what we're calling a marketing guide. That email will include different elements that you can then send and access, that you can then access all of your marketing materials. So you don't ever actually have to log into anything. You'll receive an email. It will then have a list of things that you can be doing and links to the actual marketing elements that have been pre-built for you. Already has your own branding on that, and it already has the information coming straight from the MLS. So we'll know from the MLS when you have a new listing. You'll then receive an email from us that has all of these really great, uniquely styled elements. It's this marketing packet. And then you can choose which elements you're actually wanting to use for that specific listing. But it's not just with you for the just listed information. It's also there for you when something gets updated. So maybe there's a pricing adjustment that's made, maybe you have an open house. Those are two elements that are two times where the status will update and that it will trigger a brand new automation package. So you'll receive another email that comes into your inbox with a congratulations about the change to your listing, a new portion in the life of your listing, and you'll receive a new set of marketing materials that are specifically crafted and branded to that status change. So maybe it's a price reduction or a price change. You'll have marketing materials that indicate that. Maybe it's an open house. Again, your marketing materials will indicate open house versus just newly listed. And then finally, when a listing actually sells and closes, and Melissa, you may want to jump in and let us know when this actually happens, because it does take a couple of days for this to actually send to you. So it'll close on the MLS, and then I believe it's about 100 hours later, so about 2-3 days after the close of that listing, you'll receive another end of marketing or end of your listing life marketing package. Is that correct, Melissa?
That is right, Dawn. Yes. And just to actually go to the new listing part two, it may not be immediate, but you should certainly get the new listing. I would say on average, it takes around 2 hours. It just takes some time to get through the system. So I'd say around 2 hours, but definitely within that 24-hour period once your listing goes active at the MLS. And then on the close, it is 100 hours. So Dawn was exactly right there.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so you can see right there on your screen, you'll get a new email with marketing information and links out to different marketing pieces on each of these 3 stages of the life of your listing. So a brand new listing that goes live on the MLS. Then if there's any update or change to that listing, so whether it be a price reduction, price change, or an open house is added to it, you will get a new marketing package with that information listed. And then as it closes, you'll get that final just sold package that comes to you in your email. Now, what this email actually looks like is this marketing guide that we're going to be calling it. And you can see on your screen, the left-hand picture is an image of an example of what that marketing guide looks like. So at the top of that, it'll be providing you some suggestions of ways that you can connect and share. Maybe you need to print something. Maybe you should buy an ad for this particular one. So whatever makes sense for the specific listing, we'll be suggesting some options for you. And then towards the bottom of the email are the actual links that will open up that element, that marketing material, to allow you to start working with it, whether that be a flyer that you then need to print. Either you send it to a local printer or you print it on your own beautiful printer in your office. You can do that. We provide you with the PDF of that flyer that you can then send over the web to a printer that you like to use, or you can print it locally on your own machine at home. So you have those options for you built right into the marketing guide. This is going to be considered your marketing coach. It's all customized to your brand. Our design team has been working with the Windermere design team, so all of these elements are wonderfully built and beautifully look like the Windermere brand and work with that. These are all meant to really maximize the visibility of a listing. And I also want you to kind of think about, when I'm walking through some of these, this isn't necessarily just applicable to current listings that you have. Maybe you have a listing that sold a couple of weeks ago and you still want to be able to highlight that, or maybe it sold earlier or later last week and we haven't gone live with this particular marketing package for you and you still want to be able to market that. You can do that. You can also put together a packet for a pre-listing. So if there's a listing you're trying to win, think about some of the elements I'm showing you today that you can build inside of our marketing center to add to your pre-listing packet to show how you will market market the properties to your next customer to win that listing. So kind of think about that in the back of your head. But what I'm wanting to show you right now is that it is customized to you. It is built to maximize that visibility. So whether that be print or digital, email, social media, whatever you're wanting to do to get that in front of people's eyes, and you can use it to help win that next new listing. Here's an example of a marketing package. So when you get that first email, it's a just listed email that you're getting a marketing package for. And I will say, if you have more than one active listing right now, you will get an individual email per listing. So if you have one or two, maybe let's say you have two active listings, you'll get two emails from us. If you have more than that, you'll get the total number of emails that match the total number of active listings that you have. Each email is specific to an individual listing, and within that, you'll see a marketing package similar to the one that you're looking at on my screen right now. So you'll end up with what we're calling an e-postcard. It's essentially an e-blast or an email that can go out to a group of people that indicates information about your property. You can have a printed flyer, a virtual tour, a web page, imagery to go onto your social media accounts that you can download and post to different places, a printed postcard, either large or small. So there are many, many options for you to connect with your people through the different layouts and marketing materials that are included. All of these are included in your email that is received. So what I want to show is what an email actually looks like. So just a moment while I pull one up for you. You've got an example of that on your screen right now. But let me open up the one that is for Windermere here. And here we go. So this particular email is what you will see when you get a new just listed email from Moxi and Press. So it'll indicate your just listed marketing package. That'll be the subject line. You can see it up here towards the top of the screen. Your just listed marketing package for whatever the address is for your property. That will be listed here. You'll then be able to see some commonly started steps. So get the word out on your social media, let your neighbors know, and then alert your network. So all of your sphere you can start doing that. But as we scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see all the individual elements. So we have a postcard, a small postcard, large postcard. We have the e-postcard, which is that email version of a printed postcard that you can just send out to your email contacts, to your sphere. We've got different options for flyers, as well as some additional postcards. Maybe you have multiple agents that are going to be needed on that particular postcard. We have options for that as well. And then we have a single property website. The single property website is great, allows you to customize that to a point if you wish to update any of the wording, imagery, all of that information. All of this can actually be updated or edited. Let me come back and show you. Oh, excuse me about that. Let me come back to my PowerPoint here and I'll show you one last thing, and that is the opportunity for you to go ahead and edit any of the materials. So what's great about the automated marketing package is that it is automated. There is nothing else for you to then go and build. It comes to you in your email inbox. You click on the link that's in that email and it will open up that actual marketing piece. So you can either save it to your local system, email it off to whoever you need to email it to, send it to a local printer. You can do everything right from that email, the marketing guide that you receive. However, you may want to go in and make some adjustments to those marketing pieces. Maybe you want to update or edit the headline, or you want to edit whatever the text is that's included, knowing that in knowing that in a printed version, sometimes you need to adjust the copy of what's included on the actual print materials. A smaller postcard won't accept as much copy on it as a larger flyer will, and that won't accept as much copy on it as an email will. So you may want to go in and make some adjustments to what's written to make sure that it's going to look really nice or include all of the pieces you want to include. So in order to actually send out an email, let me back up one slide. On the marketing guide, on the email you receive, right to the top, you'll see Marketing Center. There will be a link that takes you to your actual Marketing Center. And that Marketing Center will allow you to go just that one more step beyond automation. So you can create one-off designs as well as customize some of the marketing materials we've already provided for you. And your listings will always be stored inside the Marketing Center to give you easy access to help promote whatever you're wanting to look for. So what I'm actually going to demo for you at this point is how to edit and how to go that one step beyond. Because once we turn this on for you, and Melissa can give us some insight into when that will be turned on, once we turn this on for you, you will receive your first initial emails for any active properties that you have right now, and you're off to the races and you're able to go ahead and use the materials that are inside that email. So what we're really focusing on today in this webinar is to show you how to edit, where to find and navigate around the Marketing Center so that you can make some of those adjustments as you wish. So let's go ahead and go over to our Marketing Center so you can see what that looks like.
And just while you're pulling that up, Dawn, just to let everyone on the webinar know, the date for automation is TBD. We're working with Windermere Services on that. So stand by for that announcement. It will be coming from Windermere Services once a date is selected. So for now, it would just be the Marketing Center you can access, and more to come on the automation live date.
Perfect. Okay, so once you have received your email and you click on that Marketing Center link, this is the page where you will be landed. And I'm going to thank Michelle Adkins for allowing us to use her as a guinea pig. And I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like inside of the Marketing Center. So when you first land on this page, the majority of us are coming to the Marketing Center to make an edit to an existing project. So every element that is built, whether it be a postcard or a flyer or a website, each one of those is its own project. So once you want to edit something, let's say we want to edit that flyer, we want to come into our Marketing Center and then click on Edit Existing Project. It's the second button over here on the left. Other navigation items to take a look at here is right at the top. You can go directly to any project that's already created. So you can get there right from this project navigation or from this edit existing project button on the right. On the left. It's a Monday. I'm missing my left and right here. On the left, right here in the center is our design center. So you could come in and create a brand new project right from the design center, or on the left, click on create new project. So there's multiple ways to get to where you need to go. All of your contacts are actually connected with MoxiWorks and Moxi Engage already. So any group that you have or any contact that you have in Moxi Engage, you'll be able to see that same group or contact inside of Moxi Impress, which will allow you to email any of those e-postcards directly to a specific group or to individual people in your sphere right from the Marketing Center here. And then finally, we have our listings navigation at the top. This will take you to all of your current listings that you have right now. So all of your actives, and there should be some solds in there as well. Melissa, how far back do the solds go?
I believe it's connected to the MLS, so it should pull up any solds you have. I'll double
All
check with
solds.
our team and we'll include it in the FAQs that I know services is working on. But I believe it's just pulls in whatever is showing in your Moxie account.
Perfect. And I'm sorry, that was kind of a trick question. I apologize about that, Melissa. It should show all of your solds. So anything that we have pulled over from the MLS, you should be able to see. So anything that's active or sold, all of that will be sitting under listings right now. So what we've done here is we're coming in, we've gotten our email, we want to come in and make an adjustment to one of those projects. So we're going to come to edit existing project. We'll click on that, and what this will do is bring us to a list of our current projects. Right at the top are any recent projects we've worked on. So you can see that we have several listed here. We have a small postcard. It might be really hard to see on your screen because it's tiny print on my screen. So this says just listed small postcard 1 agent. Next one is just listed large postcard 1 agent. And then we have a flyer for land. And then we have a 5-photo flyer for 1 agent. Those are the 4 that are most recent. Down underneath that is our project folder location. This is going to list all of your emails essentially, or any project folder that you have currently created. So when you get a brand new listing, we'll know about that listing. We will create that marketing kit that you will receive in your marketing guide in your email. If you come in to edit that kit or any of the projects within the kit, you'll see that listed here under a project folder for the individual address. So we have the one address here for 12 East Black Willow Drive. If we had multiple emails that have come out, you'll see one project folder for each address that you have an active property for. So just kind of keep an eye on that. If you're wanting to dive into a project folder, sometimes it's easier to go directly to the folder and then find the project within it. Depending also on how the life of your listing has been. Maybe there was an open house, maybe there was also a price adjustment, and then you've also have your sold options. All of those will then increase the total number of projects. So right now, this particular one has 9 projects in this folder. As you start living the life of your listing, you'll see this number adjust. If you have one listing that has a price adjustment and one that goes straight to sold, the numbers are going to be different. So we're only going to create marketing materials or projects if there's been a change to your listing. So if it goes to sold, if it goes to listed and then to sold, you'll only have those 2 marketing kits or marketing packets created. If it went to active and just listed, and then it also had an open house, and then it went to sold, you'll have some additional marketing elements or marketing projects in that folder. So that number is really reflective of how many kits or individual projects have been created. I want to come in here to this folder, and I want to go ahead and edit one of these pieces. So let's go ahead and edit the postcard. I'm going to use this first postcard right here, and I'm going to click on that. Before I start editing this, let me show you a couple of examples of what the marketing materials look like. My apologies, I should do that first here. I have a few that are open right now. just to show you the branding and the options that are available. This is a two-sided flyer, and you can see we have large, beautiful images on this flyer, as well as some information right at the bottom of the front page, and then our contact information at the bottom of the back of the page, along with the branding of Windermere, and then any pertinent information for that particular property. So here are the several photographs that we've pulled right from the MLS, and they get pulled in order from the MLS. So the first 3 images will be on the front page, and then on the back page, the next 4 images, I had to count that for a second, the next 4 images will show up on the back page. So the first 7 total images from your MLS listing will be what display on this flyer. I then have an example of the e-postcard. So this is the email that gets sent to your people as you choose. So you can send this to the sphere, the group of people that you want this to go in front of as an email. Pulls the very first image from the MLS. And then finally, we have our postcard. So we've got the first image from the MLS as our postcard on the front, and then on the back, we have the copy from the MLS as well as our contact information and any pertinent info regarding the open house in this instance, or if it's just listed, the pertinent information about the property itself. So let's go in and edit this postcard. So I've got a just listed postcard here. I'm happy to use it right now. I could go ahead and click on download, which would allow me to use that PDF to send to a local printer or to print it off on my own printer here at home. If I want to edit any of the copy or I want to change the photograph, I can click on the edit button, and it's going to walk me through this. It's a very easy to follow way of updating any of your materials, and every single project has the same flow here, where we want to update any info about this. Project name, we don't have to make any changes to. Project description, we don't really need to make any changes to. We'll click on save and continue, and this will bring us to our photos section. The photo section is showing me the very first photo from the MLS. Well, I want a different image from the MLS, so I'm going to actually trash this photo, and I'm going to click on the plus icon to add a different image. This is going to open up my option to select a photo. Now I can upload from my own computer if I have something on my local computer. If my photographer sent me all the photos through Dropbox, I can access my Dropbox right through here. Or I can go to project photos, and project photos are going to pull any of the images that were on the MLS already. So this is connected to our MLS. I'll click on project photos, and you can see all of the images that are available for this property are sitting right here in this folder. So maybe I want to get a nice broad view of the area. Here's one that shows an overview of the area, and I'm going to click on that and add that into my postcard. I'll click on save and continue, and then I can go in and adjust the text. So I can make a change to the headline, the street address, and the information from the MLS pulled directly over, but I can adjust this as needed. I can add in beds and baths. I believe this is land, so we don't need to enter in that information. And as we scroll down, we can change info down here. So the body copy is actually too long for the postcard. I can come in and make adjustments. It'll show me right at the bottom how many characters it's over, so I can make my edits here. If I don't make any edits, it's simply going to cut off right at the maximum character count, and no more information will show up. So if it cuts off in the middle of a word, that's what that will look like. So you need to come in and double check the length and whether or not it fits on the body. We'll click save and continue. We can adjust any of our contact information. So right now we have brokerage info and our phone info. We are not going to let you change your email address or name here. That's something that gets edited in your profile. So we'll pull that directly over from your profile. Click save and continue, and then we have updated our postcard. We can now preview this postcard, and it's just going to build a quick preview here for us to look at in a small window right here, and have a little preview only watermark across the front. But you can see how it adjusts and updates this particular listing. If I want to go ahead and download the PDF right now, I can do that. Just need a standard PDF. I'll click on download. And then this will provide me with a link. So I'll click on the link, and it will open up my postcard. So here I've got my postcard. I can zoom in a little bit on that so you can all see what this looks like. So beautiful postcard, great image, and all of my information is on the back. If I want to make any other adjustments to anything, I can come back to my file here, go back to my projects. Come back to home, edit existing projects, and here is the postcard that I was just looking at. And you'll notice I just have the download PDF. Now, if I wanted to go back to my project folder and I wanted to find any other element here, maybe I want to go into my single property website. I can click on this property website and I can go in and make edits to this as well. Again, we'll land on the first is the info, so just project name. We don't need to make any adjustments to that. Photos. This is going to pull in every photo possible from the MLS, and you have options to upload even more. So you'll see all of the initial photos, the first 14 at this point, photos get pulled over from the MLS, and then we have a space to add in up to 50 total images for the website. If you want to add in any more images, just click on the plus icon. It'll open up this box where we can either select from our local computer or go to our Dropbox, or you can even grab stock photos. But for this particular example, it'll probably be either your computer, your Dropbox, or the actual MLS, which is the project photos. Then we'll click Save and Continue. And the text is going to lay out any other items you might want to include. Schools, links to different things. So you can add in multiple links that will link off from the single property website. And this is a single property website, so it's only specific to this listing. And you can then link to this particular website from your Moxi site or from your social media or both. So you have access to add this as its own property URL as a link right from your own website. You can come in and update the body copy if you wish, and you can even add in a virtual 3D tour. You can see there are many, many more fields that you can fill in and include some information about a secondary agent if that's necessary for you with this particular listing. Then you update your agent info. Here you can also include any of your social media links, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Save and continue that, and then you can go ahead and publish to the web. I'm going to click on preview. This does take just a little bit of time to preview this page. So as I'm doing that, I'm going to just talk a little bit about this. Any one of the projects that you are working on, you can go in and make edits to that, whether that be the imagery or the text or body copy. And I do recommend that you look at that depending on what project you're working with. If you're working with something digital, all the information that comes from the MLS is pretty straightforward. If you're working with print, double check that the copy looks correct to you before you go ahead and get it printed. That would be my only recommendation, depending on how you have written out your copy from the MLS. You can see as I scroll down, we've got all of the information that came directly from the MLS, as well as all of the images. And I can keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. This will have the listing details. And then we also have a map here, so people can click on that to get more information and maybe find directions to the property. There's also a call to action at the bottom to request more information. Now, if you are needing to create a new project for an existing listing, so my example here would be you have a recently sold listing that you're not going to get an email from us on initially. So when this gets turned on, and as Melissa mentioned, that's to be determined when this will get turned on for everybody. But when you first start getting your emails from us, those emails will be specifically for all active properties. And then from that date on, as those properties shift in their status from active to sold, you'll get new emails for the different stages of the life of the listing. But if you have any sold properties that have gone sold before you get that first active email from us, you're not going to get an email for those. And so this is just at the beginning of the life of Impress when you have access to this, that this will happen. But if you want to create a new package for a just sold property, it's really, really easy. So we'll come over to our listing section and you'll see all of your listings shown here on this particular page. You can click on manage your listing. And this will open up the listing itself, and you can update any of the intel that we have here. So if you wanted to add in an open house right here or add in that virtual open house URL, you can do that. Anything that hasn't come over from the MLS automatically, you can make some adjustments or updates to it here. Right at the very top, however, over on the right-hand side, are some buttons that allow you to either view the projects that have already been created for this particular listing. You can create additional one-off projects, or you can create an entire marketing kit. So let me show you both of these. If we click on Create Project, this will allow you to simply look at specific individual elements. Maybe you want to have a one-off social media project. So I'm going to scroll through here so I can find the social media post. Here we have a Facebook post for just sold, just listed, or I'm sorry, open house or price reduced. They're the ones that are down here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and click on the price reduced one. And we can click on view sample just to see, is this what we want to create? So this would be our social media post, allows us to have our branding, our location, a headline on this, and an image that we choose. We can choose then to say, select this design, add it to a project folder, and then we want to select the MLS that this is in regards to. So if you have more than one listing, you would then just click on this drop-down menu and select which listing this is applicable to. Then click on Save and Continue. Confirm. If you have a lot of photographs, oh, I'm going to name this social media. If you have a lot of photographs, it might take a little bit of time for them to start populating in because we'll pull them directly from the MLS again. We're just needing one single image, so I don't want this first image that I've got here. I want to change that up. So I'm going to go back to my plus and then project photos. Project photos are all of the photos that come from the MLS. And I'll grab this third image again, add selected, save and continue. I can change my headline here if I wish to. I'm going to leave it the way it is though. And now I can download image. I'll save this to my desktop here. And we've got an image that we can then upload to any of our social media. We can send it to ourselves on our phone, so we can post it to Instagram, or we can post it to Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok, wherever you're wanting to send the social media element, you can add that there. If you want to post it directly, you can click on Share on Facebook. And what this is going to do is ask you to sign into your Facebook account, confirm that it is your Facebook account, and then you can say something about it and post it. So you have those options, and you can simply click on Publish to the web. It'll do the same thing as Share on Facebook. So you'll have a web link for it that allows you to post that way, maybe to Twitter instead of it just being its own image. You have a link to take you to that. If we come back to listings, I was going to show you the second way that you can add or create projects. So we created a one-off individual project, or we could come in and create a holistic marketing kit. So I'll click on Create Kit, and then we can look at what is it that we want to really highlight. We have a kit for just listed, open house, price reduction, and just sold. Well, for my example, you might have several just solds that you want to highlight right after we go live with this for you, and you'll want to go ahead and create those kits. So we can click on the Select Just Sold kit. Again, it's going to create the project for us. It's then going to build all of those elements for us, tell us that it's been created and ready for distribution. And here you can see at the very top, we now have 3 just sold pieces that we can work with. We have our just sold e-postcard. We can preview this right now. Take a look at what image is at the top, take a look at the copy that's here. We can go in and edit this as needed, and we can even email this directly from Moxi Impress. And this will, again, pull all of your contacts from Engage. All your groups from Engage will be available here. If you click on email contacts, it'll then take you through that process to select who you want to email this to, and then email that on to your people. So Melissa, we've covered quite a few things to be able to work inside of the Marketing Center. I do want to make sure that we answer any questions that have come in. So can you help me answer any questions today?
Yes, of course. And thank you so much, Dawn, for going over Moxie Impress. I know that many are excited to kind of jump in, and we do have a lot of questions. So I'm going to dive right
Okay.
in to make sure we get to as many as possible. Um, and if we don't cover your question, just know that I will circle up with the Windermere Services team to make sure that these all get answered. So keep them coming if you do have questions as we're going through this. Okay, so the first question that we had, and there were several of the same questions. So if you asked this, I'm bringing it all into one. So essentially, the question is, how quickly will the email come out after the listing goes live? Is the question that we've received.
That's a great question. So there's two things that happen. When we get the new listing, we will also check to make sure that that listing has images. And you will only get the email from us once there are images there. So if you went live real quick and then the next sweep, the images go live, that's when the email will kick off to you. So I believe what Melissa had said earlier on was that it could take up to 2 hours for you to see that first email. So it's definitely within the first 24 hours, but it happens pretty quickly. And I would say it's within the first 2 hours after posting a listing to the MLS. We'll receive that at MoxiWorks. We'll double check that there are images, and then we'll send you that email.
Exactly. There is one nuance that I want to add to that question and the answer that Dawn gave specifically, because it was spot on. But there's one exception. So if you are a brand new agent, or for any admins that are on this training, if you are working with an agent and they have never had a listing and then they win their first listing, there is this sync that happens at midnight. And in those cases, it can take up to 24 hours. That sync needs to happen before the email gets sent out. So let's say they get their first listing today, for example, and they've never had a listing in the Moxi system prior to that, but they get this new listing that goes active at the MLS at 4 p.m. At midnight, it will sync over and they should get the just listed email that next morning. So that would be on 10/20. So there is that one exception to keep in mind. It's pretty rare, but I wanted to call it out just in case it does come up.
And it only happens with the very first listing, right, Melissa? Because any listing after that, they're in the system, it's going to be fine, right?
Exactly. Yep. Thank you for adding that in. Um, let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, so this was when we were covering the just listed, just sold pieces. Does this mean that the subscriptions that we have set up for just listed and just sold go out? Is this a duplication?
So if you're talking about the subscriptions from MoxiWorks, from Moxi Engage, those have to be triggered by you anyway. So you have set up the subscription, you have already determined who you want to have receive a just listed or just sold email from inside of Engage. And those are pre-subscribed people so that you, when you choose to send out that email, can hit the button and they'll receive that. So this is not necessarily replacing that. This is in addition to that, a different way of marketing. So you could still have your people that you want to send those particular just listed or just sold emails that come right out of Engage, and you can trigger those emails to go out to those people. And then also you might want to post something to Facebook or social media, any other social media, where you want to send out a printed flyer, or you want to use the email that's in here. So it really depends on what type of property you have and how you're wanting to market it. And this is just giving you more ways in which to get the information in front of people and get the right eyes on the right piece of material. So it doesn't replace it. It's just in addition to that just listed, just sold. And neither one go out automatically to your people. You still have to say, I want this piece to go to people, but we provide that to you so that you have those options.
Perfect. Thank you, Dawn. So next question, we kind of covered this, but I want to touch on it just to kind of reiterate how the system works. So the question we have is, are we able to edit the flyers ourselves?
Absolutely. So every single element, the process is going to be the same. You can come in and click on Edit Existing Project. You can find that project that you're wanting to edit, either scroll through the projects that are listed up here at the top or click on the project folder for the specific property. And then, so we talked about flyers. Let me click on this particular flyer here. We can then click on Edit for the flyer. Same process, change the info if you wish. It's sitting under that same project heading. Swipe out the photographs if you want some different photos. Change the text. So a body copy is going to be different on each printed material. So double check that you have what you want in there. Update your agent information, contact information as needed, and then you can save that PDF to print it yourself or send it off to a printer. So you definitely have access to update and edit any of the materials that we've created for you. The layouts all stay the same, but you can choose what the copy says and what the images are.
And Dawn, I just want to really touch on one thing. Would you mind going back into edit for that design specifically?
Not at all.
Awesome. And then go to the text portion.
Sure.
Perfect. So I want to call out one thing and really touch on this because especially for any printed materials, right here you'll see that the body copy is red. So anytime you see red, it means that you will need to go in and edit the text to get it down to a lower character count. So each of the designs is different, but specifically for any printed pieces to make sure they look amazing and exactly how you want it to without any text being cut off, you're really capturing what you want to say about the property. Please be sure to go in and review before you either print yourself or send to a print service to take care of this for you, just so you make sure it looks as expected. Thank you, Dawn.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no problem. Absolutely.
I thought a picture is always a better way to kind of show what to look out for. Okay, so we kind of covered this at the beginning, but just to circle back, how far back can you go with solds is the question.
Oh, and that was my trick question that I threw at Melissa. So my apologies, Melissa, about that. If we have your information from the MLS, so make sure all of your MLS ID is connected in MoxiWorks and we are getting your listings, we will then show and display all of your solds that we have from the MLS. So there is no, I think it might end up not going any further back than say 2010 because that was when we started pulling in the data for a specific section. But that's still quite a ways back. And I don't think you're going to want to promote listings from 10 years ago now. However, all of your solds should be showing up in the listing section of the Marketing Center for Moxi and Press.
Perfect. Let's see. Next question we have. So I think this one came in earlier. Can we see examples of what the Windermere branded templates will look like? So we kind of covered that through the training. And just for anyone who was maybe a little later when Dawn went through all of these, well, she's showing them on the screen now. You can definitely preview any of the materials through the Marketing Center that you would like to see kind of what it looks like and see if it maybe is what you're looking for. And just for anyone that maybe was a little late to the webinar training today, this is being recorded. So you will be able to access this training later on too, to kind of pause and play as much as you would like.
So I just did this quickly as Melissa was speaking. So let me do it one more time here from the homepage. You can select any specific type of design right here from this homepage to start creating a new one-off or to kind of take a look at what they look like. I went into flyer, and this also brings you to the design section. So you could click on designs from the upper navigation as well to get to this exact same screen. And you can then select, oh, I want the 5 image, or I want the 7 image, or the single, and you can select any of these. And then there is a view sample option underneath the photo, and that will then open up a full PDF with sample imagery, but also your specific branding included.
Perfect. Thank you, Dawn. I am going to take this next question because it's kind of a non-answer, but we've had a few questions come in today about, is this going to be a subscription service? What is the cost going to be associated with this? Is there a cost? So those kinds of questions. So this is really a great question for the Windermere Services team. I do know that this right now is a trial, so you will get access and your agents will get access. And if you are an agent, you will have access to this for a certain length of time. But more to come on what it will look like when it comes to cost and what might be available without a cost. All those kinds of questions will be addressed at a later date. So I'm so sorry that I don't have specific answers for you right now. If you do want more information kind of ASAP, I know the team over Windermere Services is working on this. But as I'm sure you could also send a question to just ask at windermere.com too, if you have any specifics that you'd like answered kind of as soon as possible. But moving on to the next question, because we still have a bunch coming in and I want to hit as many as we can. The next question we have, Dawn, is the e-postcard is separate from our Engage campaigns, correct?
That is correct. So similar to the just listed or just sold emails that you would pre-subscribe people to, the campaigns that you have in Moxi Engage are their own entity, their own thing that you create and send out to your sphere. The e-postcards here are specific to your listing, so that makes them separate and different from the campaigns in Engage already. But they are just an additional element that you can then use to get information in front of the right eyes. So definitely harness that e-postcard feature to be able to send out kind of a just listed or just sold option in front of your people. That allows you to add in different elements or showcase different elements than even the just listed or just sold email that we send out or that we have in Engage that's kind of original to Engage. So you have both of those options available to you, but they are different.
Perfect. Thank you, Dawn. The next question we have is one that I will take. So we've had a few questions come in around this topic, and the question specifically is, how will administrators or staff support this if a broker wants staff support for any edits, things like that? So there was an announcement that went out for account creation, and I've been working with the Windermere Services team, and the path that we'll be taking is we will be creating an admin account for each office. It is a separate login, so any admins that are on this training, it's a separate login that you'll need. It's not the SSO login that will be implemented, but you can use this separate login so that you can jump into any of the agent's accounts within your office to help them with any edits or things like that that they might need help with. And if you don't know what that information is yet, I know you can reach out to, hopefully she's okay with this, Nora at Windermere Services, and she can help you out with that information. Okay, let's see what we have next. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the next question we have is, will Moxi Impress be its own new tab, or is it part of campaigns? I can take that one, Dawn, because it is separate. Dawn kind of answered the campaigns part of this. It will be separate to the campaigns that you see within your Engage account. And I do know that the Windermere Services team has plans to add this into the work site somewhere. And they actually have an awesome page that's been created with a bunch of resources for Moxi Impress specifically. So watch out for, I don't know if they're adding it kind of where exactly they're adding it, but you will get more information on how you can access Moxi Impress and just sign in from the work account directly. So I'm going to move on to the next question. Is the open house coming from the information that's input into the MLS?
That is my understanding, Melissa, that is coming directly from the MLS. And would it also be fair to say that it's coming from the listing manager? So if that's updated inside of listing manager, it would also get updated in Impress?
That is exactly my understanding. Yep. So if you add it in either place, that information goes from the Moxi listing manager or roster over to the Impress kind of side of things. And a similar question that I'll dive into for photo gallery is the same concept. So if you are an agent that likes to update your images through listing manager to replace the MLS ones, those are the images that Moxi Impress will use. And I'm going to lean on you, Dawn, because you're better at explaining this. But when it comes to images and high resolution, for the single property websites, you will want to consider what images you're using for the load time. And
yes.
You talk to that point because you're definitely better at it than me.
Yeah, so I mean, so what I would do want to say about that is that dimension, so how large the image is different than how, I guess, how heavy an image is or how how many megabytes or kilobytes or gigabytes it is. So you want to have as large an image as possible for web, especially since these are mobile responsive websites. You want to be able to look at them on a variety of screen sizes, but you do not want it to be a very heavy picture. So you don't want it to be a large file size. So you want to, especially if you're working with a photographer, your photographer is going to be able to do this for you, no problem. In asking them, I need the highest resolution at the lowest size possible, and you want to keep things fairly small. I would recommend things that are under 100 kilobytes if possible, because that's a quick load speed for the internet. But you certainly want to keep it under 5 megabytes at the largest, because then it will just take forever to load, and people will then just leave your website because it's taking too long to load the image. So kind of keep that in mind. And then you can upload those high-res images specifically for print. You can use even the largest of the large images to be able to have a really lovely print image, but you don't need that higher resolution even for web that you do for print. So just kind of keep those things in mind as you're wanting to update or change out what you've got from the MLS. If it fits on the MLS, it's going to work on the website, on the single property website. The print pieces, you may want to upgrade, and that's why we have that enhance your listing option inside of our listing manager in MoxiWorks to allow you to add in some larger resolution images than you can on the MLS. So that's really just where I want to say get the largest resolution as possible with the lowest file size.
See, I knew you'd be better at that, Dawn. Thank you. Okay, next question we have, is the email an attached PDF or is the body of the email? So I think we're talking about the, I don't know if it's the flyer or the postcard.
The e-postcard. So if we're talking about the e-postcard, which is the example I have up on the screen right now, this will be in the body of the email. So it will look exactly like this when you open the email. If you are wanting to send the flyer, that will go as an attachment, and it doesn't have an email option inside of Impress. You would need to download the PDF and then send that out to people. So this is an email attachment. And I really do actually recommend that you grab this email attachment and email that to your customers, specifically your clients, so that they can see this really cool new thing that you've had printed out for them. But the e-postcard will be in the body of the email.
Perfect. Next question we have is, can we edit or crop photos?
Any kind of photo editing would need to happen before it's uploaded to the MLS or even before it's uploaded to the listing manager inside of MoxiWorks. And then there is no additional photo editing capability inside of Impress, inside this marketing center. So whatever you create is what we will use.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question we have, Dawn, is, are we able to edit and add the agent's designation after their name, i.e. broker or principal? In our specific market, we must disclose this information in all marketing.
So all of that would be available in the profile. So I believe we can click on profile. Oh, it's a lovely photograph there. Sorry about that. Let me go to profile here. And you can come in and edit to make sure that the profile itself actually indicates what it needs. There is a place where you can add title, and after the last name, you can add in any additional designation, and then that will be applied to all of your marketing materials. But there, I would recommend doing it in your profile so you don't have to remember to do it for each individual piece.
Yes, that will definitely save some time and prevent you missing it. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left. Let's see. Some of these are similar questions, so I'm skimming over if we've answered it. So apologies for the delay. Okay, so this question came in. I might have to answer it, and I'm not too sure what this means specifically, but the question is this meant to replace APM and Custom Express?
Well, I think APM is very similar to Custom Express. I'm not familiar with it directly myself, but I don't believe this is supposed to overrule or replace Custom Express, is it, Melissa? It's just an additional option and opportunity, and this is completely automated versus needing to go in and create your materials inside of Custom Express, correct?
So this is in addition to, I know there's some similar things within Custom Express, but I'm not super familiar with all that you have access to on that side of things. So I think that is probably a great question. If you have any concerns or questions about when you should be using Moxi Impress or Custom Express, or which one is the better one to use for a particular thing, I would definitely reach out to your marketing team to see if they have maybe some recommendations there. I know this part of it, and Dawn talked about it earlier, but just to kind of bring it back to this, parts of this, the part I love personally, and I think agents will really like, if they don't have to edit, is you get that email with all of the content. And while some of it might have to be edited, it's really that automation piece that's really nice. I think Custom Express has a similar thing that they might have announced recently. But either way, if you have questions about the differences between the two, that kind of thing, or something you'd like to see here, I would definitely reach out to your marketing team. I'm going to go to the next question. I'm trying my best to get through all of these, but like I said, if we don't get to your specific question, we'll be sure to reach out to your brokerage with that information. Let's see, when adding an image to the property website, the question is, can we choose other file types such as a PDF for floor plans, etc.?
Well, let's take a look at that real quick, actually. So we'll come to property website and we'll select this design. We'll just go through the whole process. Give it a title and continue. This is going to pull in all of my images so that I can work with them. And if I want to add in a new image, and let's say I want to upload something from my computer, I can go to select my images, and it does not stop me from uploading a Word document or a PDF or a PNG or a JPEG or any of those images. So you can see I have quite a few options available, and I can upload all of those. So if you have a PDF of your floor plan, you can upload that. Definitely preview that before you publish it though, so it acts and looks exactly as you want it to. Because if it doesn't, I would recommend that if you have a PDF of something, simply save that out as a PNG or a JPEG so that you know it's an image that's going to be available on everybody's systems, because you don't always know what somebody is looking at your website from, what kind of device they're looking at it from. So definitely a PNG or a JPEG is going to be more universally available for people to look at than even a PDF, even though PDFs are pretty widely used. So just kind of take a look at it first. Always double check your work before you publish it, but it does not stop you from uploading a PDF.
Awesome, thank you, Dawn. I think we have time for one more question, and the rest we'll have to get back to you all on. But the question is, social media links are not pulled from my worksite profile. So I think this is when you were going to, I believe it was single property website. It was one of the pieces where it shows
Oh, and it had that option. So you can always upload those to your profile here. So right here, I've got Facebook URL, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I don't know actually if these are pulled directly over from the roster information. So because this person may not have them listed in their roster profile, so they're not showing here, but I believe those transfer over. And if they don't, you can definitely put them into this profile here, and then they will be applied to any project that would use them. So like this, the website, and it would show up there. So just like with the designation, go and update that in the profile to make sure that it's applied to all of your materials that you're going to want to use that for.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawn. Well, we have 1 minute left, so I don't know if you want to take one more question or if we should maybe wrap things up.
Let's go ahead and take one more question, and then I'll kind of wrap all of this together in a nice little bow.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. Sorry, some of these are very similar questions that we've answered. Let's take this one, and I might need a help out, but are we going to be able to send to Custom Express directly to be able to print is the question.
So any of the print materials that we have, actually, let me go into a project that we already have open here. There is an option to print it yourself. And Melissa, you may there might be a way for us to actually include Custom Express right here. So that's an integration partnership there, to make sure that there's a link that would take you right into Custom Express and print this over there. But you can always download the PDF and upload it wherever you need it to be, and or print it on your own local machine. So whatever is going to be the place that you like to have things printed, we'll provide the PDF so you can always get it to that location. But we might be able to place a link that does it automatically for you.
Yes, that should be there. I know we had some configuring we needed to do with the Custom Express team. So yes, we will have that there for you. Stand by for when that will be available. We should be able to get it there pretty quickly.
Perfect. So what I do want to say, and I've seen this question pop up a couple of times, so I'll just wrap this up in my closing here, and that is any listing that you post on to the MLS, we will automatically create a marketing package for you, and that marketing package will be sent to you in an email. And for the majority of us out there, we are only going to need to use that email ever to click on the link from the email to open up our marketing piece and get it printed or save it to our desktop. When we click on the link, it's going to open up something just like this on our desktop, where we can then save this, download it to our own system, and get it printed or post it to social media right from there. I saw one question about posting to Instagram specifically, and depending on what kind of Instagram account you have, majority of us have personal accounts, and you would have to upload that from your phone anyway. So go ahead and get this image right off of Moxi Impress and add it to your phone so that you can go ahead and upload it right into the app itself. Um, you would only really need that email in order to be able to utilize and process all of the marketing pieces. And that's what's so great about Moxi Impress, is the automated piece of it. Get that email, work from that email. You never have to actually come into the marketing center unless you really want to create some one-off pieces or make some adjustments to that body copy or images. Click the link from the email itself to get into this marketing center, and just go and make the tweaks that you need for those individual pieces, and you're good to go. So all of that is really from the email. The email is going to be the heart of the automated marketing piece here. I believe Melissa mentioned earlier about pricing. That's something that's going to be discussed with your marketing team, so that's to be determined as well. And then any cost or any questions that you have about getting into the marketing center before or after you've received an email, if you can't find the email, that will also be a link from your workspace to be able to get here. I really, really am excited to be able to provide this for you all, that this is something that you will all have access to, and to be able to really harness the automated piece of that. Thank you so much for joining us today. And this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back and take a look at all of the elements that we're showing you today. And I really, really hope you dive in and start using it. It's a really great, easy to use and completely automated piece for you to have. So everyone, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and have a great rest of your day.